Well, Sound Lounge started about, I think this is our 20th anniversary as a facility. It started out as a bunch of mixers, about 3 mixers that said, hey, we want to start our own place. There's Derby that does production work that we work with, and they're based out of Sound Lounge as well, so that's a pretty tight team there. And we started our film and television division, so places have shuttered up or started and haven't been around or fighting for their lives. We've found that, you can fight, primarily just do good work, and good things can come to you by just doing good work and worrying about that. Well, my background is music, being a musician. I think that's where a lot of engineers mostly come from, even in post-production. Through placement at my university, they're like, hey, can't find any music stuff going on right now, but if you want to check out a post-production place, you're going to get 3 square a day from this place, basically, in a nutshell. And I was kind of fell in love with it, the fact that I could have a life after, 5, 6 o'clock. You can go home and you don't have to stay till 3 o'clock in the morning, cleaning beer bottles off the floor and stuff like that. We started up our film and television division roughly 10 years ago. Obviously, when you're trying to be a full production space, you need to have an ADR stage, as well as a Foley pit, and can also double as an office if you need it for a dialogue editor. And we had a need for a stage, and they're like, hey, Pat, do you have any interest in being an ADR engineer? I don't know what that is. Let's figure it out and see if it's fun. And kind of had a knack for it, and clients kept coming back, and have yourself a nice little career in ADR. So, yeah. It's a lot with understanding what the client needs, what the project needs, recording-wise. Number one, let's get that out of the way. What are we going to need to get to that perfect recorded take that's going to match perfectly with the rest of the dialogue? And those little nuances and little tidbits of direction, tricks of the trade, is always something that keeps it interesting. It's fast-paced. You have to get through 20 some odd cues in an hour, and it's one after another. But so it's always jumping around. You get to see productions before they're done. It's most of people outside of post-production or production, they only see the final polished product. They don't see the heart and the technical aspects that go into making a production. Monitoring voice is obviously my primary concern. While there's other aspects to it, mixing the production back into things on playbacks to make sure everything's fitting together and playing back. On records and playing back, I need to know what their voice is doing. And having a clear representation of that through the speakers is extremely important. I need to hear if there's any pops and clicks. You may not pick up in a normal environment. I have to be able to hear that without having headphones on the whole time. It's nice to be able just to keep your ears open to the room, because that's the primary environment that the production will be listened to. So I want to make sure that the bottom end's represented. I want to make sure that the high end's represented properly. And that's being properly captured, and having a speaker that can represent that is extremely important to me, and that was always a big concern of mine. What I noticed with these, and especially for music, it's more poignant, is that these have just a hair more space at the bottom. I found the top end is the spatial imaging on the stereo imaging is spot on. It's wonderful listening to things on these and being able to pick apart where the mixers placed them, high pieces and low pieces. It's opened up songs amazingly, and my God, it was just fuller than I ever heard any other speaker deliver out of just 2 midfield speakers like that before. I was, how do they? Where's the sub? I know it's a 2.1, there's no pulling the wool over my eyes. The imaging stands out to me on the S2V. And it's literally, going from another speaker to these was literally about opening a window. It was, what I felt was that this glass wasn't here anymore. I was listening to exactly what I was hearing that person do as if I was in the room. And that was very important to me, and these speakers were able to do that resoundingly easy. And it takes the fatigue off the ear, and I'm not searching for things in the voice, or I'm not searching for frequencies as much. It's literally just a blank slate and a clear representation of the voice, and that's what counts, and that's why these are my speakers. So don't put me